YKC can actually improve disease that is caused by degeneration of brain neurons. Okay, so some of you might be thinking, wow, what does that mean? Now I'd like to talk about the other benefit of the YKC, which is actually modulating and balancing the brain neurons. We have this blood-brain barrier in our brain, and it is supposed to be thicker because it acts as a protective shield for our brain so that it doesn't get infected by bacteria all this easily. Because it is thicker, it is harder for medicine or supplement or good things to pass through. Okay, but YKC, because of the component there, it is able to pass through that. Yeah. So what does that mean? Okay, now we all are quite familiar with certain brain degenerative diseases. Okay, so our brain may have certain diseases due to degeneration. This is how our brain is structured. A healthy brain has a cortex, the ventricles, as well as the hippocampus. So the cortex is basically responsible for language and information processing. The hippocampus is actually critical to formation of memories, new memories is created there. So if the hippocampus is degenerated, that means cannot form memories, okay, cannot remember, okay. And the ventricles is actually the space between it's a network cavity between the neurons that is filled with fluid, okay, filled with fluid. So a healthy brain look like this. A person with Alzheimer, you can see that actually the brain, number one, the brain has shrink. The cortex is also shrinking, and the ventricles has got more fluid, take up more space, and the hippocampus is also shrinking. Okay, so an Alzheimer's patient brain look like this, and an Alzheimer patient would have memory loss, can't remember recent events, cannot hold conversation, losing behavioral skills, and cannot function independently. Okay, so this due to brain degeneration. So again, in the lab, they tested the Alzheimer's disease mice. Okay, this is a control group. This is a scan of the mice. No treatment of YKC. You can see there are solid lines here. Here, the middle photo, solid lines means that the ventricles is really enlarged. Okay, when the ventricles enlarged means there's a lot of fluid taking up the space. Okay, cramping it, so less space for the hippocampus as well as the cortex. And see, the brain is smaller. But the mice treated with YKC, the treated YKC, the brain size is not shrink. The solid line here, the ventricles is not solid. Okay. Okay. Another thing is also they did the test. They can see actually the amyloid, A beta amyloid formation. Now what is see, our brain has a normal process to dispose of protein. We use protein, after they will dispose of it. But in the Alzheimer patient, the protein disposal process is disrupted. So when the protein disposal process is disrupted, then there's a gradual build-up and accumulation of protein fragments in our brain, okay? And they are formed and between the neurons, so that protein build-up fragments is actually the amyloid plaques, okay? So here, they show that actually the arrow, you can see the arrow. Here is a control group, yeah? You can see that they died, and then you can see the amyloid formation clearer, yeah. So here you can see quite small, not very significant. But for the Alzheimer brain, mice with Alzheimer, you can see that the amyloid formation is bigger, pink, dark pink area bigger. And here, when you feed the mice with YKC, you find that actually the amyloid formation is quite close to the control group. Again, this is done at the lab, certified with GLP. So YKC can actually improve disease that is caused by degeneration of brain neurons. Okay, so some of you might be thinking, wow, what does that mean? Okay, so these are some of the health problems due to brain neuron degeneration. Okay, for example, the automatic nervous system disorder, you can't sleep. definitely related to automatic nervous system disorder, or when you have depression, the decrease in the serotonin production, seizure, epilepsy, and even Parkinson. Yeah, those are all due to brain neurological degeneration diseases. Okay, so in these sort of cases, yeah, we take YKC, one tablet before sleep, okay, or if you don't get YKC, even in YKS, the lucidinic acid is also able to penetrate to the blood-brain barrier lah. Okay, as I mentioned just now.